that they managed to keep them all together.
Be the white flag next time by for the leaders. We have completed 8, working lap number 9 in this 10-lap event here at Eastern Creek for the HQ Holdens. So guys, unless something bar any complication or aerodynamically engine-wise, there's the white flag to Peter Knight. David Woods and Will Cook just coming by. They get the white. So we're down to it. Final lap.
Yeah. David Wood now opens quite a handy little gap on Will Cook. It's about 1.3 seconds, but in HQ racing, that's a huge gap indeed.
It all happened in 2 laps also, John. I'm sorry, in 2 corners too. He just got a couple of bad balks right at that time, lost his rolling speed, and these cars don't have a lot of power, so it takes a while to wind them up again. Mind you, don't have a lot of power. They are still going at least 10 miles an hour faster than the man ever designed them to do.
Well, I'll tell you what, not only with Alan Grice and John Smells, I'm Bill Cannell, and it has been a delightful afternoon thus far of racing here at Eastern Creek, guys.
Did you see that? Knight had both wheels off the deck as he came over the flip-flop.
He did that, but remember, got to save those tires. You guys like to breathe them over.
Keep the air around them, Bill. Keep the air around them.
It looked like the leader has got himself just a smooth little grind around this final corner. Now he'll start the downhill fall.
So here we go.
Just
the main straight remaining. You could put it in neutral coast from here. David Wood, in fact, is starting to close the gap from behind, but far too late to be able to do anything with it. And it's Peter Knight who will almost now cross the line and take the HQ Holden final here at Eastern Creek, and he does so 5.41 seconds in front of David Wood, with Will Cook in 3rd position. Ben Walsh will go through in 4th.
And in 2 weeks, you'll see him on the high banks and the G-force and all of that down at Calder Park in the Thunderdome for the big Christmas race. 2 weeks from
December 4 and 5 at Calder Thunderdome is a venue and a time that you wouldn't want to miss, because that'll be the 3rd round of the OzCar and NASCAR Championship Series, and of course you'll see these cars drafting each other. Drafting, Bill?
Drafting.
Thank you.
You did good. I'm proud of you, Joe.
Yep. On the Thunderdome, and that's a sight to behold. 42 of these cars, plus a few more that didn't make it up to here at Eastern Creek. That's your race leader and race winner, Peter Knight, in the Valvoline Holden HQ.
Larry Gatt finishes 10th. 9th is the maiden Ivers car. 8th will go Andrew Wilson, and of course 7th Tim O'Brien. 6th Bob Hepburn.
So it's been sensational racing. Upcoming shortly will be the 2nd round of the NASCAR Championship over 20 laps. Then we'll bring you the OzCar final, and then back again for NASCAR Race 315. Sensational laps,
It's called a showdown. It's called the Big Shootout outside of Sydney, Australia, Eastern Creek, in the foothills of the Blue Mountains.
This town's not big enough for the both of us, boy.
Alan Gaskell is back in the studio at the moment at SBS, looking for a sports update.
Thank you, boys. Good afternoon again, everybody. First to athletics, and Germany's Katrin Krabbe has lost her fight to avoid a ban for doping and will be unable to run until August 1995, following the rejection of her appeal to the International Amateur Athletics Federation.
German teammates Grit Breuer and Manuela Dare were banned by the International Amateur Athletics Federation last August. They'd tested positive during training. Today's decision comes after a year-long dispute between Krabbe and the authorities.
In England, racing has recommenced at Aintree in Liverpool, the site of this year's aborted Grand National steeplechase. Officials have installed a new starting system in the hope of avoiding the fiasco which caused the abandonment of the big jumping race.
It may not look that sophisticated, but technologically, Aintree's new starting system is light years ahead of the one which failed so disastrously at this year's Grand National. Operated by remote control, a powerful spring mechanism catapults the redesigned tape out of the horse's path at far greater speed. And, according to the manufacturers, the radio signal system that activates it can't be interfered with.
It has total security with over 4,000 different combinations on it, so you can reset at any time you wish, 5 minutes before the race if you wish to.
Today came its debut in the 12:30, along with other modifications. The start line moved 30 yards down the course to allow a clear view of the first fence, and the starter's podium moved towards the centre of the course. It all went off without a hitch.
And they're away. Nice, smooth start, too.
I'm pleased it went satisfactorily. I think we all knew that the mechanism would be all right. The jockeys went in the usual way, and off it went, and thank goodness all went well.
Some things at Aintree, though, changed little. Of the 7 starters over the fearsome fences, 5 failed to finish.
Just checking the golf now, and in the Ford Australia PGA Championship at Concord in Sydney, Peter Fowler has collapsed over the last couple of holes, and now John Morse, the American, joins him at 10 under the card. They share the lead after 12 holes, conditions fine and sunny in Sydney for the big golf. And we'll be back to Eastern Creek in Sydney in just a moment.
Εμπρός.
Γεια σου, γιαγιά. Εγώ είμαι ο Σταύρος.
Γεια σου, παιδί μου. Τι κάνουν οι γονείς σου?
Καλά είναι, γιαγιά. Καλά.
Πώς πάνε τα μαθήματα του μπουζουκιού σου?
Καλά, γιαγιά. Καλά, τώρα ξέρω και παίζουν τον εθνικό ύμνο μας. Θέλεις να ακούσεις?
Ναι, βέβαια.
Για πρώτη φορά στην Αυστραλία, η Optus εγγενίασε ελαττωμένες τιμές μετά τις ώρες αιχμής για την Ελλάδα. Έτσι τώρα μπορείτε να τηλεφωνείτε πιο συχνά και χρησιμοποιώντας την Optus εγκρίνετε και εσείς, όπως και η κυβέρνηση της Αυστραλίας, τον συναγωνισμό που με τη σειρά του καλυτερεύει τις τιμές και την εξυπηρέτηση.
Ναι, μπράβο!
Της αρέσει το δώρο της θείας Έλλης?
Α, ναι!
Αν θέλετε να υποστηρίξετε μια εταιρεία που ωφελεί και εσάς και την χώρα σας, απλώς πέστε τη λέξη.
If it only saves you once a year, it's a good year.
Test 1, 2.
Just take those old records off the shelf. I'll sit and listen to them by myself. Today's music ain't got the same soul. Oh, I like that old time rockin'. Oh.
No other chip feels this good. Ruffles. The chip with more groove.
On Monday night, a film by Doris Dury. Fleeing from the violence of her father's world, the daughter of a cop chooses the gentler company of one of his enemies.
Ow!
Inside the Whale, 9:30 Monday on SBS.
Does Sylvester Stallone have what it takes to catch Super Crim Wesley Snipes in Demolition Man?
Yeah. How does the newly extended family shape up in Adam's Family Values?
Children, this is Mr. Linsky, our new nanny. What do we say?
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
And what is the outrageous Kiwi comedy Desperate Remedies all about?
Find out on the movie show, 7:30 Wednesday on SBS.
And the field is out on the track already for round 2 of NASCAR's Thunder at the Eastern Creek this afternoon, and it's going to be some sort of a race, Billy Cannell.
You know, the first one was a doozy. Had a little bit of everything in it. This one should have a little bit more, but there's no doubt in my mind for all the folks watching by television this afternoon, stay with us. That last 15 laps, Alan Grice, will be phenomenal because it's for the big bucks.
Yes, it is. This race is still important. They've got to... This race determines the grid positions for the 15 laps, which is the point scoring and the money race. So it's still important that if you want to win that 15, you need to be on the front of the grid. And the front of the grid here, of course, we've got probably the 2 most experienced road racers in the field, which is about as you'd expect. But that makes for great racing at the front, there's no doubt about that. Charlie O'Brien's got the advantage of being on pole for this race. That means that he's the one that decides when to hit the accelerator, and you just get that little jump. He should be first to the first corner. Jimmy, by the same token, was wrestling during the last race with a broken gear stick. He'll be have a much nicer car to drive this time. I don't think he'll go mad early. Jimmy will just let O'Brien set the pace. It's 20 laps in these sorts of heavy cars and these sorts of tyres. That's a reasonably long way around here. So I don't think enormous fireworks at the first corner, but then this is motor racing, who knows?
You know, one of the guys that just blew an engine is on his way back to Perth, and a tough break for the car number 7, Barry Blake, the Buick Regal. Blake, no second engine. He has to head back to Perth, and we're sorry that we lose him out of the NASCAR field.
Half a lap before the green flag, and in the pits is Ian Campbell.
Yeah, just talking about Barry Blake, Bill, and what he actually did was drop a fan belt, caused the engine to seize, so the McDonald's car is going all the way back over the west coast. Quickly, David Gross in there with massive front end damage. They're going to try and get it out for the 15-lap final. We'll start from the rear of field on that one. Paul Freestone has a piston failure with the mobile Pontiac. He's in the garage at the moment. The good news, though, is Kim Jane, after that big clout in the last event, is back out there. He had 2 problems, the damage to the sheet metal and also a broken gear stick. And last but not least, Ronnie Goodman, 2 trips to the pits before in the West Coast cooler car. He's now fixed his problem. It was a broken linkage in the gearbox and he's going. And one last thing, John Faulkner has had a gearbox change. He's gone from the Jericho. He's now got a T10.
Okay, the field now starting to line up behind the pace car. Only 2 corners remaining before they go.
I noticed that Faulkner's lined up on the back of the grid. That can only be because I would suggest that he's changed a major component in the car. And the Borg-Warner T10 that he's put in is not anywhere near as strong, nor probably has good enough ratios as the other cars.
The yeah, Alan, the T10, very quickly, is intended to be used only on the Thunderdome.
Yes, it's intended as a top gear gearbox. The Jericho, the other American box that the other cars are running here, is much more suited.
There we are, riding inside the cockpit, right in the seat with George Elliott as he works and maneuvers the steering wheel and works the keyboards and gets ready to go up through the gearbox now as they come off this hill. There's George inside the Chevy Lumina in car number 55, and we're ready for a start, John.
And George is about to say yes as the cars come down the straight, ready for the start. The pace car's off the track. The green flag's poised, ready to go. It waves and they're racing, and Charlie O'Brien charges into the lead. Jim Richards right beside him on the outside. O'Brien looks like he's got the corner covered. Richards doesn't give up, nosing up alongside O'Brien. What can happen up here as they hit the brakes for the first time?
Here comes Ian Thomas right alongside. He'll drop kick somebody back into 4th. He'll come up to 3rd, side by side, wheel to wheel. Somebody's got to give. O'Brien takes the low road, goes to the inside. He gets the lead. Then comes Richard in 2nd. Ian Thomas trying to maintain that number 3 spot. It's a wild battle.
Max Dumsey also in it in car 5. And it is just sensational racing, isn't it? O'Brien now takes just a little bit of a security gap on Jim Richards, which is what you'd expect from Richo, wouldn't you? When he lets everything settle down and the tyres get a bit warm, Alan Grace.
Yes, he will, yeah. He'll just roll it together. And certainly some action from the back with Faulkner, and I'm pretty sure it's Barry Graham. There's all sideways coming through the flip-flop. But those cars are both moving through the field. They'll come into reckoning in a couple of laps.
Well, Barry Graham has had a lot of seat time in the last 12 months. He's been over in America working with Richard Petty at Charlotte Motor Speedway. One car is off the course, up through the left turns near the S's. Well, it looks like the 08 car, John.
That's Graham Smith.
Anyway, Graham has had a lot of seat time on the ovals overseas, but no time on a road course. So he's got to learn this track just like the rest of them.
Race order, Charlie O'Brien leads, only half a second between him and Jim Richards, as you can see there, as Richards noses down under brakes. 44 goes off Adam Pay.
Adam Pay's off. Faulkner is also charging through the field, Super T10 gearbox and all.
Pay's coming right back onto the asphalt, and it's interesting to hear Alan Grice say that Faulkner is charging through the field with that unusual transmission. We all know a Jericho is the best transmission to use on this facility.
Yeah, especially made for this type of racing, much stronger. But there again, having said much stronger, he broke 2nd gear in it in the first race.
Adam Pay, when he went off the track, then threw away 6th position and is now at the rear of the field.
Max Dumsey back there in the 3rd spot. We're getting a report from around the track. There is a certain area from some of our camera position that some raindrops are beginning to fall. Now this is a better than 1.5 miles around in miles, but it's over. You can see the rain beginning to pebble on the windshields, guys.
Yes, down this front straight, no sign of rain at all, but just over the back of the circuit, it's obviously a very localized shower, and it doesn't look like it'll move through looking from here, from our vantage point.
I agree with you, Alan. We're going to stay green, there's no doubt. And besides, it takes a whole lot of rain to slow things down. They'll keep the course dry like they're running as it is, John.
Yeah, we're now down to lap times of 1 minute 20 for the slower competitors. But the faster guys, we're getting reports of them coming through at about 6s, which is about right at this stage, isn't it, Alan, with reasonably full tanks?
Yes, about 2 seconds off qualifying. But I think
whoa,
back into the wall.
81 car, hard slide.
Peter Galvin in the Pontiac Grand Prix.
And he hit that wall a nail and a half backwards as he went into it, ricochet. But he's all right. He's moving around in the car. Probably just hurt his pride a bit, huh, Alan?
Well, we saw Ian Campbell's report earlier that told us what sort of safety facilities are within this car, in these cars, to really protect the drivers. So to take a fair old thump for a driver to be seriously injured in a NASCAR.
Absolutely. Well, O'Brien continues to lead. There's just a section of the course under yellow. Here's the way they're running at the end of 3 laps, working lap number 4 of a 20-lap segment here. Charlie O'Brien leads, Jim Richards second, Max Dumsney is in third.
Look who's fourth.
Faulkner is up in fourth with that new transmission. He changed the gearbox. Up in fifth is Ian Thomas.
Look at this. It's Jim Richards up the inside of Charlie O'Brien. Absolutely sensational stuff.
Takes the lead away from O'Brien for the first time, and O'Brien's not an easy guy to get around, is he, Alan?
No, he's certainly not. He just went a little wide. Jim saw the hole, straight in. There was no contact, no touch. It's early days, and we'll look at both cars off the ground there, completely off the ground over the top of the hill.
Airborne over the top of the hill. In fifth, as we said, Ian Thomas. Riding sixth is Gene Cook. George Elliott is back up to seventh. Kelly Jane is in eighth. Running ninth is Robinson. 10th is Barry Graham, and that's the top 10.
Oh, and now the battle for third position between Max Dumsey and John Faulkner. Just look at Faulkner now starting to throw out the challenge to the reigning NASCAR champion.
Faulkner's in the Newline car as they come down to the start-finish line. Here, Faulkner just getting right back. Oh! O'Brien wanted to get back into the lead. He made a move down on the inside of Richards, but not too many drivers other than a Dale Earnhardt will try to move down in that corner, because that's a good way to get yourself nailed out into the wall of the grass.
Richards now has his corner very well covered, Alan.
Yeah, that's a very good line through. That's his normal racing line through there, and it's obviously a quick line. And it looks as though Faulkner's had a bit of a tap, yes, and he's through into third. Had a bit of a tap in the rear. It looks, that rear left guard doesn't look terribly pristine, but and look at him close going over the flip-flop. I mean, he really picked up a lot of yards there. He's certainly on a charge.
Faulkner is the man who's wound up at the moment. In front of him, these other two drivers are stroking it along. Very fast, mind you, but stroking it along as 81 tries to get back into the race. Peter Galvin. 14 is also off. Neville Lance in the Ford Thunderbird. Slumber King.
He's telling those fire crews, don't hold me up, guys. I'm okay. I want to refire this thing. I want to get back into it if it's at all possible. Please don't hold me up.
John Faulkner has now joined the slipstream. The 3 cars now nose to tail.
Waved yellows going into the corner.
So that's going to hold them in single file through here.
Yeah, they can't pass while those yellow flags are being displayed at them.
But as soon as they pass the incident itself, then it's open go again.
There's Faulkner. We're getting, of course, a view of his car, the Newline car. That is an Oldsmobile that he's driving, and the car's just handling, and it seems to be working excellent. I mean, to change from a Jericho to another transmission, are you kind of surprised, Alan?
Yes, I am. I'll be more surprised if it does this 20 lapper and then another 15. But then this is motor racing; anything can happen. But that box is not as strong as the box that he replaced.
Faulkner looking for any way he can find through Charlie O'Brien.
Yes, he's not content to sit. He wants to be second, then he wants to be first, and he doesn't see any reason in resting the tyres, and I tend to sympathise with him a bit. It's a motor race after all, not a reliability trial.
John, does that Thunderbird look a little bit bigger than these other cars to you? If you look at it on your screen and broad-mindedly here at the circuit, look how much, it isn't any bigger, but it does look bigger, doesn't it? That's a Ford Thunderbird, as they call it, and that car was made very famous.
Here he comes, Faulkner down the inside.
Very decisive and doesn't lock up. Very decisive move. That was a good move.
I thought O'Brien was coming back up to give him a tap, but couldn't catch him. Faulkner just hit the throttle and went on.
I'm sure it went through Charlie's head.
Talking about the Thunderbirds, Bill Elliott made it quite famous and quite popular back in America when he had the $3.5 million year and won all the bonuses. That's what made that particular Thunderbird be an acey-deucey race car in NASCAR, and it still is today. O'Brien is proving that, and a lot of the Australian teams are proving that with the Thunderbirds, but Pontiacs are strong, so are the Oldsmobiles and the Luminas in this field.
See, look at Faulkner's close right up on Jim. I admire the approach that Faulkner has to his motor racing. There's no points, there's no money. As we said, there are grid positions on this race, but it's a motor race, and Faulkner's out there to motor race, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's going to take a position any time he likes, and I admire that. I think that's he's a racer.
0.3 of a second now separates John Faulkner from Jim Richards. Another 1.01 back to Charlie O'Brien. Then comes Max Dumsney, then George Elliott.
And O'Brien can't do nothing with Richards nor Faulkner right now. He's just got to be patient, play the waiting game, step back there and watch him perform.
Yes, Faulkner just went in a little bit hot and got a bit wide, lost a bit of space there, but he's straight back on the pace, and he's very quick through this section.
That's interesting, isn't it, that O'Brien, we're riding with him now in the BP Visco car, has dropped back just that 1 second, Alan.
Yes, I think